In parallel single-phase feeders, the A and B phase conductors should be run in separate conduits. This is because the two feeders must carry equal current in opposite directions to cancel out magnetic forces and prevent overheating. Running both the phase conductors in one conduit and both B-phase conductors in the other conduit would result in unbalanced current distribution and could lead to safety hazards. In parallel three-phase feeders, all three-phase conductors A, B, and C are run in the same conduit. This is because the three phases are offset by 120 degrees, so the magnetic forces cancel each other out even when the conductors are in close proximity. However, this is not the case with single-phase feeders. The two-phase conductors are not offset in time, so they must be separated to prevent magnetic interactions. The National Electrical Code (NEC) requires that parallel single-phase feeders be run in separate conduits or raceways to prevent imbalanced current distribution and overheating. The NEC also specifies the minimum spacing between parallel feeders to minimize magnetic interactions. In addition to following the NEC requirements, it is recommended to run parallel single-phase feeders as far apart as possible within the conduits. This will further reduce magnetic interactions and ensure proper current balance. Considering these points in detail, we can elaborate on the technical aspects of parallel single-phase feeder installations. The fundamental principle behind paralleling conductors is to increase the ampacity of a circuit. When a single conductor cannot handle the required current, multiple conductors are used, effectively sharing the load. However, to ensure safe and efficient operation, specific guidelines must be followed. Firstly, the conductors must be of the same material, typically copper or aluminum. Secondly, they must be the same length to ensure equal impedance. Thirdly, they must have the same termination method and the same insulation type. Fourthly, and most importantly for this discussion, they must be arranged to minimize inductive reactance and ensure balanced current distribution. The issue arises from the alternating current flowing through the conductors. Alternating current creates a magnetic field around each conductor. When conductors carrying current in opposite directions are close together, their magnetic fields tend to cancel each other out, reducing the overall inductive reactance of the circuit. However, if the conductors are grouped such that the current in one phase is concentrated in one conduit and the current in another phase is concentrated in another conduit, the magnetic fields do not effectively cancel. This leads to several potential problems. 1. Increased inductive reactance, which can cause voltage drops and reduce the overall efficiency of the circuit. 2. Uneven current distribution. Due to differences in impedance, one conductor may carry more current than the other, leading to overheating and potentially premature failure. 3. Increased magnetic fields outside the conduit, which can induce currents in nearby metallic objects, causing further losses and potential safety hazards. The NEC addresses these issues in Article 310.10. Specifically, it requires that all phase conductors, neutral conductors, and equipment granting conductors be installed in the same raceway or cable when they are part of the same circuit. This requirement is intended to ensure that the magnetic fields are balanced and that the inductive reactance is minimized. For single-phase systems, this means that the A-phase and B-phase conductors must be run together in the same conduit or raceway. For three-phase systems, all three-phase conductors A, B, and C, along with the neutral and equipment grounding conductor if present, must be run together. There are some exceptions to this rule, such as when the conductors are installed in parallel underground ducts that are physically separated by at least 24 inches. However, these exceptions are carefully controlled and require specific engineering analysis to ensure that the magnetic fields are properly managed. The NEC also specifies the minimum size of conductors that can be run in parallel. Generally, conductors smaller than 1/0 American wire gauge (OG) are not permitted to be run in parallel. This is because the smaller conductors are more susceptible to variations in impedance, which can lead to unbalanced current distribution. When running conductors in parallel, it is important to ensure that they are properly sized to carry the load. The ampacity of each conductor must be at least equal to the load current divided by the number of conductors in parallel. For example, if a circuit requires 400 amps and two conductors are run in parallel, each conductor must have an ampacity of at least 200 amps. It is also important to consider the directing factors specified in the NEC. These factors account for the effects of ambient temperature, conductor bundling, and the number of current-carrying conductors in a raceway. Directing factors can significantly reduce the ampacity of a conductor, so it is important to carefully consider them when sizing conductors for parallel installations. In addition to the NEC requirements, there are several best practices that can help ensure a safe and efficient parallel conductor installation. 1. Use conductors from the same manufacturer and with the same manufacturing date code. This will help ensure that the conductors have similar properties and impedance. 2. Use the same type of insulation for all conductors. This will help prevent galvanic corrosion and ensure that the conductors have the same temperature rating. 3. Install the conductors in a symmetrical configuration. This will help balance the magnetic fields and reduce inductive reactance. For example, in a three-phase system, the conductors can be arranged in a triangular or delta configuration. 4. Use properly sized and torqued terminations. Loose or improperly torqued terminations can create hot spots and lead to premature failure. 5. Inspect the installation carefully after it is complete. Check for any signs of overheating, such as discoloration or melting of the insulation. Measure the current in each conductor to ensure that it is balanced. If any problems are found, correct them immediately. In summary, paralleling conductors is a common practice in electrical installations, but it must be done correctly to ensure safety and efficiency. The NEC provides specific requirements for parallel installations, and it is important to follow these requirements carefully. By understanding the principles behind parallel conductor installations and following best practices, electrical professionals can ensure that these installations are safe, reliable, and efficient. Furthermore, the impact of improper installation can extend beyond immediate safety concerns. Long-term reliability and energy efficiency are also compromised. For instance, increased inductive reactance not only leads to voltage drops but also contributes to power losses in the system. These losses translate directly into higher energy bills and reduced operational lifespan of equipment connected to the circuit. Therefore, adherence to NEC guidelines and implementation of best practices are not merely about compliance, they are fundamental to ensuring the sustainability and cost-effectiveness of electrical infrastructure. In practical terms, consider a scenario where a large motor requires a 400 amp supply. Instead of using a single, very large conductor, which can be difficult to handle and terminate, 21/0 AWG conductors are run in parallel for each phase. If these conductors are installed incorrectly, say with all the A-phase conductors in one conduit and all the B-phase conductors in another, the resulting imbalance can cause one conductor to carry significantly more current than the other. This overstressed conductor will overheat, potentially damaging the insulation and creating a fire hazard. Moreover, the uneven current distribution reduces the motor's efficiency, causing it to draw more power than necessary and potentially shortening its lifespan. To mitigate these risks, the electrical design should incorporate careful calculations of conductor ampacity, directing factors, and voltage drop. The installation should meticulously follow the NEC requirements, ensuring that all phase conductors are bundled together. Regular inspections, including infrared thermography, can help identify potential hotspots before they become critical failures. The use of high-quality terminations and proper torquing techniques further ensures the integrity of the connections. From a design perspective, alternative solutions may also be considered. For example, using larger conductors with higher temperature ratings can reduce the need for paralleling, simplifying the installation and minimizing the risk of imbalances. Alternatively, active harmonic filters can be employed to mitigate the effects of inductive reactance and improve power quality. These devices actively compensate for harmonic distortions in the current waveform, reducing voltage drops and improving the overall efficiency of the electrical system. In addition, advancements in conductor technology offer improved performance and reliability. For instance, conductors made with compact stranding and advanced insulation materials can provide higher ampacity and lower impedance compared to traditional conductors. These innovations can further reduce the need for paralleling and improve the overall performance of electrical installations. The integration of smart grid technologies also plays a crucial role in monitoring and managing parallel conductor systems. Smart meters and sensors can provide real-time data on current flow, voltage levels, and temperature, allowing for proactive detection of imbalances and potential problems. This data can be used to optimize the performance of the electrical system and prevent failures before they occur. Furthermore, ongoing training and education for electrical professionals are essential to ensure that they are up to date on the latest NEC requirements and best practices. This includes understanding the principles of parallel conductor installations, performing accurate calculations, and implementing effective inspection and maintenance procedures. By investing in training and education, organizations can improve the skills and knowledge of their workforce, reducing the risk of errors and ensuring the safe and efficient operation of electrical systems. In conclusion, the proper installation of parallel conductors is a critical aspect of electrical engineering that requires a thorough understanding of the underlying principles, adherence to NEC requirements, and implementation of best practices. By addressing the potential risks associated with improper installation and leveraging advancements in technology, electrical professionals can ensure the safety, reliability, and efficiency of parallel conductor systems. From the initial design phase to the ongoing maintenance and monitoring, a comprehensive approach is essential to ensure the long-term performance of electrical infrastructure. By meticulously following these guidelines, it ensures a reliable and efficient power distribution system for any facility. Therefore, understanding the intricacies of parallel feeder installations is paramount for any electrical professional. This knowledge not only ensures compliance with safety standards but also contributes to the overall efficiency and longevity of electrical systems. In addition to the previously mentioned considerations, the choice of conduit material can also play a significant role in the performance of parallel feeder systems. Different conduit materials have varying levels of magnetic permeability, which can affect the inductive reactance of the circuit. For example, steel conduit has a higher magnetic permeability than aluminum conduit, which can lead to increased inductive reactance if not properly managed. To mitigate this, it is often recommended to use non-metallic conduit or aluminum conduit for parallel feeder installations, as these materials have lower magnetic permeability and can help reduce inductive reactance. However, the choice of conduit material must also take into account other factors such as environmental conditions, mechanical strength requirements, and cost considerations. Another important aspect of parallel feeder installations is the grounding system. A properly designed and installed grounding system is essential to ensure the safety of personnel and equipment in the event of a fault. The grounding system should provide a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, allowing protective devices to quickly clear the fault and prevent damage. In parallel feeder systems, it is particularly important to ensure that the grounding conductors are properly sized and connected to all equipment enclosures and raceways. This will help minimize the risk of ground faults and ensure that the grounding system can effectively protect against electrical hazards. Furthermore, the use of surge protection devices, SPDs, can help protect sensitive electronic equipment from voltage surges caused by lightning strikes or other transient events. SPD should be installed at the service entrance and at downstream distribution panels to provide comprehensive surge protection for the entire electrical system. In parallel feeder systems, it is important to coordinate the SPD to ensure that they work together to effectively suppress surges and prevent damage to equipment. Regular testing and maintenance of SPD are also essential to ensure that they are functioning properly and can provide adequate surge protection when needed. From an operational perspective, continuous monitoring of voltage, current, and power factor can provide valuable insights into the performance of parallel feeder systems. This data can be used to identify potential problems such as imbalances, voltage drops, or harmonic distortions, and to optimize the operation of the electrical system. Advanced metering infrastructure (OMI) can provide real-time data on energy consumption and power quality, allowing utilities and building owners to make informed decisions about energy management and system optimization. AMI systems can also be used to remotely monitor and control electrical equipment, enabling proactive maintenance and reducing the risk of downtime. The development of new technologies, such as solid-state circuit breakers and advanced power electronics, is also transforming the field of parallel feeder installations. Solid-state circuit breakers offer faster tripping times and improved reliability compared to traditional electromechanical circuit breakers, providing enhanced protection against overcurrents and short circuits. Advanced power electronics, such as active harmonic filters and static VAR compensators, can improve power quality and reduce energy losses in parallel feeder systems. These technologies are becoming increasingly cost-effective and are being widely adopted in a variety of applications, from industrial plants to commercial buildings. The integration of renewable energy sources, such as solar and wind power, is also having a significant impact on the design and operation of parallel feeder systems. Renewable energy sources often require specialized protection and control systems to ensure that they can be safely and reliably integrated into the electrical grid. Parallel feeder systems can play a crucial role in connecting renewable energy sources to the grid, providing a flexible and scalable solution for integrating distributed generation. From a regulatory perspective, the NEC is constantly evolving to keep pace with new technologies and changing industry practices. Regular updates to the NEC provide guidance on the safe and effective installation of parallel feeder systems, addressing issues such as conductor sizing, overcurrent protection, grounding, and surge protection. It is essential for electrical professionals to stay up to date on the latest NEC requirements to ensure that their installations comply with all applicable codes and standards. In addition to the NEC, other industry standards and best practices provide valuable guidance on the design, installation, and maintenance of parallel feeder systems. These standards cover a wide range of topics, including power quality, harmonic mitigation, grounding, and surge protection. By following these standards and best practices, electrical professionals can ensure that their installations are safe, reliable, and efficient.